I know not my most glamorous title for a 980 seatbelts, but I think we can make a difference today with our people. We can protect them and save them today with a little bit of information. And that's what I hope to give on what the problem is, that it really is a problem, and convince you of that, and then give you some tools to combat some of the most common myths about why people don't or guys don't wear seatbelts, and then provide you some resources. And that's kind of what I want to do. So 20 years ago, I met a guy, and he told me about this seatbelt pledge. It was named after a firefighter that they had with their department. And he was getting dressed in the back of an engine, and on the way to a call, they make a turn. It was a new engine. I looked it up, a newer engine. He falls against the door opens up, he falls in the street and dies. And so they had started this seatbelt pledge to get people to understand, to get firefighters to understand how critical it is to wear a seatbelt. And it went grassroots, and now, 20-something years later, it's actually an official site, and it's still up and running, and I will share that with you. But the bottom line is that firefighters are dying because they don't wear seatbelts. Think of this. The stats haven't changed. 66% of all fatal apparatus crashes involved an unrestrained firefighter. That is absurd, and it's hard to even imagine. I mean, it's not like we don't know. We all have been on TCs where the car is trashed, and there's nobody in the car, and you look, and they're standing along the road on the phone trying to get a ride home because they had a seatbelt on. But then we've also been on incidents where you look at the car, and there's barely any damage. The patient did not have a seatbelt on, and now they're dead. We've seen it. We have the proof. In fact, I'll bet the guys that don't wear seatbelts make sure everybody at their house wears a seatbelt when they're off duty. I'll bet money that they do. I'd be shocked if they didn't, because we know. So when I started kind of talking to people about this and really kind of dug into it, I found there was 3 of the biggest myths, excuses, and straight out lies that people were using not to wear a seatbelt. I'm sure there's more, and I share them with me if you hear them. It's faster to get dressed and out en route. Speed is important. I can't put my SCBA on when I'm wearing a seatbelt. And the one that we don't say out loud is, I'm at work and I'm too cool for seatbelts. And so let me talk about this real quick. Speed. You're right. There are seconds we can't get back, and every second counts. We know that the sooner we rescue a civilian from the fire, the better their chance of survival. And so we have to make up time before the call starts, getting ready for the call, en route to the call, and when we get to the call. Speed is critical. You are right. But is getting dressed in the back the right way to do it? And I'm going to tell you, no, it's not, for a couple reasons. First off, if you truly were worried about speed, then you would have your gear set up like this every time. You would have your gear set up for the civilian rescue structure fire. It would be set up. It wouldn't be crammed in there. So if you're worried about speed, then I would expect this is how your gear would be set up all the time. And when it comes to gloves, you would be so well practiced that you would step off the rig with gloves, because you know you can do everything with your gloves on, including putting your mask on. So if speed is truly the concern, even if you were going to get dressed in the back of the rig because you thought that helped with speed, you would still do all these other things for speed. So do this instead, because the other part of this is that when you're in the back, you're thinking about the wrong stuff. There's no such thing as multitasking. That's not true. Look it up if you don't believe me. It is a fact. We do not multitask. Now, firefighters are very good at reprioritizing with the clock ticking. We're very good at bouncing back and forth between priorities based on what we need. Very good at that. But that's not multitasking. That just means your brain's thinking about something else, and it's not thinking about what it needs to be thinking about. When you're thinking about if your hood's tucked in, your radio's on the right channel, or if the Velcro's, what you're not thinking about is what you should be thinking about in the back is the call you're going on, the call notes, what you're hearing on the radio, report of conditions. You know, is this neighborhood you're going to single-family dwellings with ranch-style houses, or with the more newer open floor plan? Because it's a complete difference in fire dynamics as well as rescue in both of these houses. Not to mention, you need to understand where you're going to go to make the rescue, or where that fire is going to be. All of it changes. Is it a multifamily? Is it center hallway? Is it garden style? Is it the type of apartment complex where I can get it with a cross lane, a structure bundle, or do I need to pull hose from the back? Or is it a drop bag with a cross lay? The houses, are these houses set back far, flag lots? Are they kind of houses that are close to the street, far from the street? The typical houses that have all kinds of fences and things out front, or like this one on the left here, are they ones that have just grass and it's going to be an easy pull? These are the things you should be thinking about en route to save time and to be efficient. What you should be doing en route is not trying to worry whether your hood's tucked in. What you should be doing is tactical breathing to calm the body and spinning up the mind to start thinking. Calm the body and engage the brain. That's what should be happening. I can't put my SCBA on when I'm wearing a seatbelt. Totally not true. This is a 9-year-old video. I couldn't find the one from Denver that's like 20 years old. People at firefighters have been putting their seatbelt on, or their SCBA on with a seatbelt on, for 20 years. It is completely doable and the right thing to do. Watch the video, learn, do it a couple times, make it second nature, and you too can do it. There isn't a complete fake excuse that you can't put your SCBA on. There is absolutely no fact to that at all. Chasing an image. This is a hard one. I'm a true believer that you can be a cool firefighter or you can be a great firefighter, but you can't be both. You just can't. Because you're too busy chasing an image. And you can read these later if you want. I think it's kind of interesting. I found them on the internet. But here's the deal, man. You're the same person that I guarantee at home, or these people are the same people at home are putting their family in seatbelts. Why are they not wearing them here? You know, and typically the people I always look out for are the ones that when you go on a drill, you know, if they think they know the subject, they're squawking like a parrot, but if they don't, they're hiding in the back. It's also on fires. You can see it. The guy that wears his SCBA, but he doesn't buckle his waist strap, or the guy in a brush fire who's rolled his sleeves up so far, it looks like he's wearing a short sleeve shirt. They're chasing fashion rather than function. And look, man, for some of these people, you know, really a lot of this comes down to the reputation you built and the relationship you have with your crews. But sometimes with some people, it's pretty much as simple as saying you will wear your seatbelt and then enforcing it. Now, I get it. There's some problems to that. And now the closer to the rank, or to the lower the rank that this comes from, the closer you get to this being an I care about you. But like for a guy like me at this level, if I walk into your fire station tomorrow and I tell somebody to put their seatbelt on, it looks like I'm checking a box. You know, I don't have the street cred. I'm not there. I'm not building that relationship like you are. It looks like I'm checking a box. I walk in and it's like, oh, the chief's more worried about, you know, fill in the blank. It's coming from a negative aspect than a positive one. So for the battalion chiefs and the captains, when it's coming from you, it's a much better chance of being from a place of or being perceived as a place of I care. Now, I'm not stupid. I understand there's a lot of support involved in this, because here's the deal. You guys are pushing it, and then I do a Fun Day Friday and I jump in the back of a fire engine and I don't put my seatbelt on. I've destroyed you, right? Totally. Or I get in the back, I put my seatbelt on, and I don't make the firefighter put his on, and I see that they don't have their seatbelt on. I'm not helping you at all. I understand for this to really work, to make true change, it has to be support completely all the way up so that you can get the mission. That being said, I know it's not all butterflies and rainbows, and this world will change constantly. It's changed in my 37 years. It's changed more times than I can remember. And this is going to maybe sound negative, but it's not. What I want to say is don't wait for the support. Yes, I will promise you, and we will promise you to support you. But here's the deal. Don't wait for the support. Die for right, man. Do the right thing because it's the right thing. If you build up the relationship with your crews and you build up the reputation, then you're probably going to be able to get away with it whether I support you or not, whether a knucklehead like me has got your back. Now, that being said, I might, maybe not. Maybe it still doesn't help because it puts you into the check in a box thing, but don't ever let that stop you. I think sometimes I do these 980s because it's my penance, you know, so that I get into fire heaven when this is all done. Because I remember all the good things I've done for sure. But the ones that yell inside my head, the monsters inside my head, are the times I didn't step up and say something. Those are the ones I remember. And so maybe me sharing this information is to quiet the monsters down a little bit. So my word of advice to you is it's going to happen. We're going to make mistakes. We're not going to step up when we should. We're going to do the wrong thing, and we're going to have monsters inside our head, no doubt. We quiet them down by sharing and making each other better. But when it comes to seatbelts, look, man, there's 1,000 things that are unsafe on the fire ground, and a lot of them we can't control. This is something you can control today. We could fix this today by simply saying, put on your seatbelt. You know, even if it comes and they don't get it as it's I care and it's checking the box, who cares? We're still going to get what we need. Put on your seatbelt. We have to do that because here's the deal. It's just needed. Now, I go back to the seatbelt pledge. And again, my pledge to you and our pledge to you is there is this. I encourage you to take a look at it. I went back online and I signed it in 2006 and it went away because nobody else signed them afterwards, I guess. And so I opened up a new account again, Ventura County Fire. Go online, sign the pledge, man. Make a point. Show it to your people. Do whatever you need to do to get them to do it. Because here's the deal. You can say it's a difficult conversation. Sure, I guess. But man, when things go sideways, I think the conversation that going to come after that with family and friends, etc., is going to be way more difficult. I hope I've given you information to prove the point. In the end, it really comes down to a few simple words to the crews: wear your seatbelt, and then monitor and make sure that's getting done. There is absolutely no reason that we should be getting injured and killed because we didn't have a seatbelt on. There's no excuse. There's no reason for it. And, again, don't wait for me to back you, although I'll try. Don't wait for us, man. Die for right, man. Do the right thing. Get it out there. I think this is a simple fix. Got plenty of other things we can't control, but we can control this. Have a good shift. Enjoy the job. Drive the call.